Namo Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Jayam Udhirayet
तो
Tato
जय
Jayamudiraye
Natam Swakatah Krishna
Pranavatam Swakata Krishna
Yashravana Kirtana
Punyashravana Kirtana
Vidyantasto hi abhadrani
Hrudayantasto He Bhadrani
Suhrit Satam
Vidhunoti Surtam
Svaprayeshva Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu
Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Shloke
Bhagavate
श्लोके
Yustiki
Bhaktir Bhavati
भवति
Naistini
नैष्टिके
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki
देवकीं नन्दनाय च
Gopakumaraya
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
Daya Namo Namaha.
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः
Hare Krishna.
Hare
So we are continuing chapter 14. So far we discussed 32 verses. So the chapter began with Arjuna going to Dwarka to see Lord Krishna and inquire about his next plans. What is Pandavas are always inquisitive about Krishna. Just that Krishna went a few months ago, so Arjuna was sent back to see how Krishna is doing and everything is going on in Dwarka. It's almost 7 months since Arjuna went, he hadn't returned. And at this point, Yudhishthira Maharaj was observing a lot of inauspicious omens. Like mentality of the people has changed suddenly, and the seasons were very irregular in his kingdom, but now they started showing some irregularities. Times direction has changed. So all these are being observed by Yudhishthira Maharaj, and then he speaks to Bhima about why Arjuna hadn't returned. It's been almost 7 months. And he was relating to the past time, or the discussion with Narada Muni that happened in the last chapter, where Narada Muni hinted about the departure of the Lord and ending of the pastimes of the Lord. So he was trying to correlate about the current, inauspicious omens and what he heard from Narada Muni, whether Lord has really disappeared from the world. And he also had a lot of, bad omens in his own body, and the way animals are behaving, the way even the deities are crying. So these are all being observed by him. So at that point, Arjuna, his younger brother, comes, and he looks very, very dejected. His head was down, tears are full of on his face. He bows down to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Looking at his face, which is very pale, Yudhishthira Maharaj inquires what has happened, Arjuna. And he had several inquiries. First, he begins with inquiring about the family of Krishna, Yadus, Surasena, Vasudeva, and their wives. And then how Lord Krishna's sons and daughter-in-laws were doing, whether they are happy or not. And how are his elders like Ugrasena, Akrura, Balarama, Pradyumna, and children Pradyumna, Aniruddha, all of them are faring. And then he glorifies Krishna. That is where we have to start now. He glorifies Lord. See my screen? He was remembering Krishna.
Yes, bro.
Yes, bro.
233. He inquired about all the family of Krishna. Yeah. These next two verses are very glorification of Lord. Beautiful verses. Bhagavan api Govindo
Bhagavan api Govindo
manyo bhaktavatsala
Brahmanyo Bhaktavatsala
Chit pure sudharmayam
Kachit Pure
Pure
Samyam
Sadharmayam
aste suhridvrata.
Sukhamaste
Namaste Suhridvrata.
Anybody want to read?
Yes, bro. Is Lord Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead who gives pleasure to cows, the senses, and the Brahmanas, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, enjoying the pious assembly at Dwarkapuri surrounded by friends.
So he now inquired about Krishna after inquiring about the welfare of the family of Krishna. So when he was remembering Krishna, he talked about three aspects. Bhagavan api Govindo, one who gives pleasure to senses and to the cows, Govinda. Brahmanya, one who protects the Brahmanical culture. Bhaktavatsala, one who is very affectionate to his devotees. Interestingly, the point here is it's not about inquiring whether Lord Krishna is doing well. Are you, healthy? No, because it is given that, Lord is always healthy and things. So whether he's enjoying, that is the perspective when it comes to Lord Krishna. Whether Lord is enjoying the pious assembly at Dwarkapuri, surrounded by his friends. So whether Lord is Sukham Maste Suhridvrata, whether he's happily enjoying the assembly of devotees in Dwarkapuri. Yeah. So Prabhupada glorifies each of these aspects, how Lord is Govinda, one who gives pleasure to senses and the cows. Brahmanya as the protector of the Brahmanical culture, and Bhaktavatsala, one who is affectionate to the devotees. Yeah, can you read from here, Prabhu?
Yes, sir. He is Govinda because he is the pleasure of cows and the senses. Those who have purified their senses by the devotional service of the Lord can render unto him real service and thereby derive the transcendental pleasure out of such purified senses. Only the impure conditional living being cannot derive any pleasure from the senses, but being illusioned by the false pleasures of the senses, he becomes servant of the senses.
So the real pleasure of the senses is actually obtained in the service of Krishna, because he is Govinda. Many people, materialistic people think that the devotees are giving up so many things, and so they are really missing the enjoyment of material life or life in itself. But actually the pleasure that they are thinking that they are deriving with the senses they have is actually lower quality, right? Because devotees are enjoying the purified senses, because the real enjoyment is giving pleasure to the senses of Lord. That is the only way our senses can be happy, right? Yeah, so until one gets the taste of the enjoyment in Krishna consciousness, they cannot give up, because that is a natural tendency of the pleasure-seeking nature of the jiva. Right? We always seek pleasure. You are able to give up your previous lifestyle or the previous ways of enjoying your senses only because you are able to enjoy a higher pleasure in the Krishna consciousness, all of us, right? So that is a clear proof that the pleasure derived from the serving Lord is superior. Yes. Next.
A society devoid of cow protection and Brahmanical culture is not under the direct protection of the Lord. Just as prisoners in the jails are not under the protection of the king, but under the protection of severe agent of the king. Without cow protection and cultivation of the Brahmanical qualities in human society, at least for a section of numbers of society, no human civilization can prosper at any length.
Yeah. Prabhupada is very clear here. Unless we protect Brahmanical culture, there won't be any real happiness. Neither the civilization really prospers. We can see in our own experience, right? Like civilizations that are like the Western civilization, externally it appears very happy. People have a lot more things than the other parts of the world, but actually their pain is all in the mind, right? There are more depressed people in this side of the world.
Yeah, they have all basic amenities with ample advancement materially, but yes, they are the most unhappiest.
Most unhappy people, yeah. In the early,
I think US needs more psychiatrists than any other country.
exactly, yeah. That is the reason. See, this external. See, the problem earlier they were all struggling hard with their, physical body.
Yes.
Now the physical body became, is satisfied. All the problems have, clogged up to mind. So you cannot get away from the problems by so-called material advancement alone. So even if you do that, the problems will, jump to the mind. So problem cannot be taken away just by mechanical or materialistic culture. It only will be transferred. It is the physical problems. Earlier, people did not have enough money to, get basic needs met. Now that problem is transferred to mental problems. Right? Everywhere in the society, we see so many mental ill people.
Yes. The Lord is inclined to a Brahmana of quality and not of false prestige. Those who are less than Brahman by qualification cannot establish any relationship with the Lord. Just as fire cannot be kindled from the raw earth unless there is a wood, although there is a relation between wood and the earth, since the Lord is all perfect in himself, there could not be any question of his welfare, and Maharaj Yudhishthir refrained from asking this question. He simply inquired about his residential place, Dwarkapuri, where pious men assemble. The Lord stays only where pious men assemble and takes pleasure in their glorifying the Supreme Truth. Maharaj Yudhishthir was anxious to know about the pious men and their pious acts in the city of Dwarka.
Yeah. We discussed this. Yeah. Mangalaya cha lokanam.
Mangalaya cha lokana.
Maya cha bhavaya cha. Kulam bodhav. Yonanta sakha puman. Yad bahudanda guptayam. Kapuryam yadavochita. Paramanandam. Paurishikaiva.
Mahapaurishikaiva.
Yeah, please read.
The original personality of Godhead, the enjoyer, and Balrama, the primeval Lord Ananta, are staying in the ocean of the Yadu dynasty for the welfare, protection, and general progress of the entire universe. And the members of the Yadu dynasty, being protected by the arms of the Lord, are enjoying life like the residents of the spiritual sky.
This is the state of the Dwarkavasis. Balarama, the primeval Lord Ananta, was staying in the ocean of the Yadu dynasty for the welfare, protection, and general progress. Mangalaya means all good or welfare. Lokanam Kshemaya cha Bhavaya cha. Bhavaya cha means even their material welfare. Right? So Lord was taking care of both spiritual and material needs of all the devotees there, pious people there. Yeah, please read.
As we have discussed many times, the personality of Godhead Vishnu resides within each and every universe in two capacities, namely as the Garbhodayaka Vishnu and the Kshirodayaka Vishnu. The Kshirodayaka Vishnu has own planet on the northern top of the universe, and there is a great ocean of milk where the Lord resides on the bed of the Ananta incarnation of Baladeva.
So basically, yeah, read this poem. Yeah.
Thus, Maharaj Yudhishthira has compared the Yadu dynasty to the ocean of milk and Sri Balarama to the Ananta where Lord Krishna resides. He has compared the citizens of Dwarka to the liberated inhabitants of the Vaikuntha Lokas.
Just like in Dwarka, Lord is taking care of all the devotees there. Just like in Vaikuntha, Lord takes care of all the devotees. Similarly, Dwarka is almost like is like Vaikuntha Loka in the material world, and Lord is personally taking care of all of them. Yat pada sanamukya karmana yat yadayo jasta sahasra yoshita. Jitya sanke tridasam satados tadasiso. Haranti vajra yudha vallabhojita. Yeah.
Simply by administrating comforts at the lotus feet of the God, which is the most important of all services. The queens at Dwarka, headed by Satyabhama, induced the Lord to conquer the demigods. Thus, the queens enjoy things which are prerogatives of the wives of the controller of thunderbolts.
So he was describing the state of Dwarka. So here, Yat Pada Susrusana. Susrusana means serving the lotus feet of the Lord, right? That is the Mukhya Karmana. That is the primary activity of the people. Who are they? The people are Satyadayo, means Satyabhama. Dvi Asta. Dvi Asta means 8. Dvi means 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Sahasra means 16,000. Yoshita means the ladies or the wives, right? So beginning with Satyabhama, right? So their main duty, their Mukhya Karmana is Yat Pada Susrusana, to serve the lotus feet of the Lord.
Prabhuji, I have a question. So first wife is Rukmini, right, Prabhuji? So why they say Satyabhama?
Maybe she's considered one of the chief. She is one of the, Rukmini, Satyabhama. Yeah, they're definitely among the chief.
Okay.
The Vaikuntha side of the wives of the Lord. Jambavati. There are few.
Seems like
Yeah.
Satyabhama is considered like Radharani, it seems. I'm not very sure though.
Okay. I'm also not 100% sure.
Yeah, Prabhu, it's said that the 8 wives of Krishna in Dwaraka
There are
is
8.
compared to the 8 Ashtasakhis of Krishna had in Vrindavan, and Satyabhama equates to Radharani.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, got it. Yeah. So even even though Lord is not obliged, but when he was in the material world, he was taking care of the desires of his wives like any other husband. And he was primarily, because they're all his devotees. Right? And at some point, Haranti Vajra Yudhavalla Vallabhochita means he even defeated the Vajrayudha Vallabhochita means the one who possesses the Vajrayudha, which is Indra, to defeat and bring. What did he bring from the Swargaloka? Lord Krishna, for the pleasure of his wife Satyabhama.
Parijata flower.
Parijata
tree.
Parijata.
Defeats Indra to bring Parijata flower for the wife, for his wife, right? Satyabhama. So that's what this is. Lord has no rules beyond all rules. Yeah, please read this.
As already explained, the Lord had very little to do with so many wives to carry out their orders like an ordinary man. But because the queens accepted the high quality of devotional service, namely administrating the Lord all comforts, the Lord played the part of a faithful and complete husband. No earthly creature can expect to have things from the heavenly kingdom, especially the Parijata flowers, which are simply to be used by the demigods, but due to their becoming the Lord's faithful wives, all of them enjoyed the special prerogatives of the great wives of the denizens of the heaven. In other words, since the Lord is the proprietor of everything within his creation, it is not very astonishing for the queens of Dwaraka to have any rare thing from any part of the universe.
Yeah, it's very clear. Yadbahudanda Bhyudayanu Jivino
Yadbhavayat Jivino
Yadu Pravirahi Akuto Bhayamuhu Adhikramanti Angribir Ahatambalat Sabham Sudharmam Surasattamochitam.
The great heroes of the Yadu dynasty, being protected by the arms of Lord Sri Krishna, always remain fearless in every respect, and therefore their feet trample over the Shudharma assembly house, which the best demigods deserved, but which was taken away from them.
Because Lord is there, and all these great devotees of the Lord are with him. For them, it is like father. Lord is like their father. And when father is around, child is never fearful, right? So you can cross the road, for example. A child in the hands of father can cross the road, which he cannot do by himself. Even though they are on the lower planetary systems, Earth compared to Swargaloka, they didn't really fear, even when they taken things from demigods, for example. Right? So that's what basically when Lord is around, Yadus are fearless. So there are some examples. For example, here can you read, Mataji? One second.
But from where?
Here, yeah.
The city of Dwarka was flourishing, being enriched with the best of things in the material world. The state assembly house is constructed according to the dignity of the particular state. In the heavenly planets, the state assembly house called Sudharma was deserving of the dignity of the best of the demigods. Such an assembly house is never meant for any state on the globe because the human being on the earth is unable to construct it. However, far a particular state may be materially advanced, but during the time of Lord Krishna's presence on the earth, the members of the Yadu family forcibly brought the celestial assembly house to earth and placed it at Dwarka. They were able to use such force because they were certain of the indulgence and protection of the Supreme Lord Krishna.
We saw many times even childhood, the Gopas, Gopa friends of Lord, they were always fearless when Krishna is around them, even though there were so many demon attacks. So similarly, Yadu family got Sudharma to earth.
Prabhu, why forced use word is used here, Prabhupada?
Looks like they got it by force to teach some lesson. I didn't know the full story of it. Yeah, there must be a reason. They wouldn't just, they're not like demons, right? There is a difference. Yeah.
A forgetful, conditioned soul is fearful, but a liberated soul is never fearful. Just as a small child completely dependent on the mercy of his father is never fearful of anyone. Fearfulness is a sort of illusion for the living being when he is in slumber and forgetting his eternal relation with the Lord. Since the living being is never to die by his constitution, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 2.20, then what is the cause of fearfulness? A person may be fearful of a tiger in a dream, but another man who is awake by his side sees no tiger there. The tiger is a myth for both of them, namely the person dreaming and the person awake, because actually there is no tiger. But the man forgetful of his awakened life is fearful, whereas the man who has forgotten his position is not at all fearful.
Fear is a kind of an illusion. So, Prabhupada is saying here. Yeah, only when it comes, only when one forgets his relationship with Lord. Otherwise, everything that happens in one's life, they know very well it is an arrangement of the Lord, either for purification or for glorification of a pure devotee. Kachitte namayam tate Bhrashtate ja vibhashini labdha mano vajnata kimva tata chirosita.
My brother Arjuna, please tell me whether your health is all right. You appear to have lost your bodily lust. Is this due to others disrespecting and neglecting you because of your long stay at Dwarka?
So now first Yudhishthira Maharaj inquired about the family of Lord, his elders, his relatives, and then he inquired about Lord Krishna's welfare, well-being, and glorified Lord Krishna and his close associates in Dwarka. Now finally he came to inquire about Arjuna himself. Arjuna came, he was dejected, his face was down, and he's lost his bodily luster. So now he is finally inquiring about Arjuna himself. Right? So he is trying to reason why he is so dejected. So he will give, for the next 5 verses, he will give various reasons why. Because Arjuna was not speaking anything. He's just put his head down, and he's not speaking a single word. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is just proposing various ideas. Maybe that could be the reason for his despondency. Right? Beginning with whether if somebody neglected or disrespected him because of his, we don't need this one. Let's read this. Kachinnabi hit hato bhavai sabdadhvir amangala nadattam uktam adibhya ashayayat pratishrutyam.
Has someone addressed you with unfriendly words or threatened you? Could you not give charity to one who asked, or could you not keep your promise to someone?
Because he's a Kshatriya. Kshatriya cannot take, unfriendly words or threats. So he's just inquiring about all these causes that could have been the reason for his despondency. Or he will not be happy if he could not give charity to a person who asked for it, right? Or could not keep a promise. Because Kshatriya should fulfill the promises he gives, should give the charity to the person who asks.
If a Kshatriya or a rich man fails to comply with his obligation, he must be very sorry for this discrepancy. Similarly, one should not fail to keep his promise to give in charity.
Kachitvam brahmanam balam vridham roginam striyam saranopastram satvam nachakshi sharana prada.
You are always protector of deserving living beings, such as brahmanas, children, cows, women, and the deceased. Could you not give them protection when they approach you for the shelter?
He was asking about all these dependents whom he might have not given protection. Kachitvam nagamogam yam gamyam vasat kritam striyam parajito vatabhavam parajito vatabhavam nottamayet na samay pati
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Have you contacted a woman of impeachable character? Or have you not properly treated a deserving woman? Or have you defeated on the way by someone? Or have you been defeated on the way by someone who's inferior or equal to you? Such
So Kshatriya, if a woman approaches him, he has to, he can accept her as wife. But in case if he cannot, then that is the reason. Is that the reason for your despondency is the question. And also, if a Kshatriya can be defeated by a superior Kshatriya, like for example, if Arjuna gets defeated by Bhishma, it's not bad. But if he is defeated by an equal like Karna, that is despondent, that can cause despondency. Or anybody of a lower category or caste, if he was defeated, that's also a cause for despondency.
Such contact between man and woman was known as Uttama and Adama. Contact of Brahmana with a Kshatriya woman is Uttama. But the contact of a Kshatriya with a Brahmana woman is Adama and therefore condemned. A woman approaching a man for contact should never be refused. But at the same time, the discretion as above mentioned may also be considered. Bhima was approached by Hidimbi from a community lower than the Shudras, and Yayati refused to marry the daughter of Shukracharya because of Shukracharya's being a Brahmana.
Because Yayati was a Kshatriya, and the girl, what's her name? Sharmishti, right?
Devayani.
Devyani, yeah, sorry, Devyani. Yeah, Devyani is Brahmani. So he was hesitant, but of course he married her. Yeah, so that consideration was there. A male can marry an equal or a lower one, lower caste, but not superior. That is called Adama marriage. Yeah. Further read. Yeah.
Contact between man and woman is natural, but that also must be carried out under regulative principles so that social consecration may not be disturbed or unwanted worthless population be increased for the unrest of the world. It is abominable for a Kshatriya to be defeated by one who is inferior in strength or equal in strength. If one is defeated at all, he should be defeated by some superior power. Arjuna was defeated by Bhishma Dev, and Lord Krishna saved him from the danger. This was not an insult for Arjuna because Bhishma Dev was far superior to Arjuna in all ways, namely age, respect, and strength. But Karna was equal to Arjuna, and therefore Arjuna was in crisis when fighting with Karna.
We discussed that. Yeah. Apisvit Parya Bhumta Bhumtastvam Sambhojan Vridha Balakan Jugupsitam Karma Kinchet Kritavana Yad Akshamam.
Have you not taken care of old men and boys who deserve to dine with you? Have you left them and taken your meals alone? Have you committed some unpardonable mistake which is considered to be abominable?
Yeah, so he is giving further reasons. These are all telling us what is the culture in those days. Right? Have you not taken care of old men and boys who deserve to dine with you? Because he has to take care of such things. And have you left them and taken your meals alone? You see, because a grihastha should always go out. In those days, they used to go out and check if there is anyone hungry in the street, and then take care of them. Have you committed some unpardonable mistakes, which is considered to be? Did you commit any mistake which is bothering you? Have you committed some unpardonable mistake which is considered to be abominable? Yeah. There are various inquiries. Yeah, please read.
Besides that, an ideal householder is required to call for any unknown hungry man to come and dine before he himself goes to take his meals. He is required to call for such a hungry man thrice on the road.
This is the culture of those days. We can do now also. Kachit presta tamena nata Hridayenatma bandhuna
Hridayena
sunyosmi rahito nityam
Nityam
manyasete anyata naruk.
Naruk.
Or is it that you are feeling empty for all the time because you might have lost your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna? Oh, my brother Arjuna, I can think of no other reason for your becoming so dejected.
So this is see. So if you look at Maharaj Yudhishthira, he has this inkling, or has the idea that maybe most likely Lord Krishna left the world, because he had directly heard from Narada Muni in the previous chapter, as we saw, and then he's seeing all the bad omens. He was very doubtful about it, but he doesn't want to utter that, because that is the last thing he wants to utter. He asked about everything else, but then finally nothing is coming out of the mouth of Arjuna. He was just crying and crying and crying. So he had to finally ask this question directly, because he knows this is the reason, but he doesn't want to speak up. He wished something else is the reason for Arjuna's despondency, like all of these 10 reasons that he mentioned before this, right? Yeah. So I think that is the last verse. Yeah, please read this one.
The purport, Prabhu. Yeah. All inquisitiveness of Maharaj Yudhishthira about the world situation was already conjugated by Maharaj Yudhishthira on the basis of Lord Krishna's disappearance from the vision of the world, and this was now disclosed by him because of the acute dejection of Arjuna, which could not have been possible otherwise. So even though he was doubtful about it, he was obliged to inquire frankly from Arjuna on the basis of Sri Narada's indication.
Yeah. So that's the end of 14th chapter. Yeah, so let me just so I'll just summarize quickly. Read 44 verses. Yeah, let's go. Yeah. So in the first 10 verses, Yudhishthira suspects the disappearance of Lord Krishna. So we talked about this. Arjuna went to Dwarka. Yudhishthira is observing the bad omens. And then he was speaking to Bhima about Arjuna's delay in coming back, and his doubts about Lord Krishna's disappearance, and then all these symptoms that he talked about, or he expressed with Bhima. At the time, Arjuna comes with his head down, tears on his face, and then rest of them are the Yudhishthira's questioning Arjuna in various ways, right? First, he asked about the family of Lord Krishna, Yadus, and his son, Krishna's children and daughter-in-law, and other elders. And this is today's section, where first he begins with glorifying Lord Krishna as Govinda Brahmanyo Bhaktavatsala, and the position of his wives also he talks about, how they were living life even better than demigods. And then then he gives 10 causes of dejection. He was just expressing various doubts, whether it is health, whether he was disrespected or neglected, was he threatened, or did he fail to give any charity, Or could he not give shelter to deserving ones? Was he contacted by a woman of impeachable character? Or was he not properly treated by a deserving woman? Defeated by someone inferior or equal to you? Failed to take care of old men and boys? Or committed some unpardonable mistake? Or is it that you are feeling empty for all time because you might have lost your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna? That was his last inquiry. So with this we, okay, yeah. So being asked by Yudhishthira, Arjuna expresses his feelings of separation from Krishna in the next chapter, chapter 15. Yeah, so we'll begin. We have only like 10 minutes. So any questions or any points anybody want to add? Looks very straightforward, right? So I'll stop recording.